everybody! It's M-Class Podcast, a podcast all about picking apart Star Trek like two nitpicking pieces of shit, while also
I love nitpicking!
while also cursing and probably talking about penises.
Fuck a penis, yeah.
Excuse me?
Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, you heard me.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Josh.
And we're just two dudes who love Star Trek so much that we thought anybody on this fucking planet would ever want to hear us talk about it. And
It turns out some do.
Turns out we were right.
If you want to be a part of the community, go to patreon.com/mclasspodcast and you can give us money for free.
We made it 1 minute and 4 seconds into this podcast before the Patreon got brought
On
up.
Patreon, you can sign up for things such as get another podcast.
You get at least one other podcast and commentary tracks, but that's neither here nor there because today...
It's there. It's on M-Class. I said it.
It's on patreon.com/mclasspodcast.
That's where it is.
On, we are balls deep in the Satan's collection, which is exactly where Satan wants us to be.
So right now, while we're recording this, it's Halloween night right now.
Yeah, we watched the spookiest, there's actually a Halloween episode of TOS, and this isn't it, but fuck it.
What's
we
the
watched
Halloween episode?
Cat's Paw.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It has
I
spooky skeletons and monsters in it.
I don't remember that one at all. Oh my god. I'm glad we didn't watch it because I want to go to sleep tonight.
I don't want to see no damn Skelemans.
I don't see a Skeleman in my nightmare dreams.
This time around we watched The Devil in the Dark, which is TOS Season 1, Episode 26.
Yes.
And we watched
Not
that
25 like it says.
We watched that as the final episode of the Satan's Collection. We're finishing it out on Halloween night, boys and girls.
I'm a Satan.
Oh no!
It's me,
Oh,
Satan.
there he is.
Thanks
I
for
knew
the
it.
lovely collection.
You're welcome, my master and lord. I love you.
You're welcome, Satan. Get out of my fucking house.
Satan, can I have lightning hands?
Sure, why not?
Hail you, Satan!
Yeah, I'm the best, bitch.
You have the best guitar solos, Satan.
Yeah, check this shit out.
Oh my god. That was so good.
He's not even holding a guitar, guys.
How is he doing it?
Anyway, I had to watch the remastered edition on Netflix, and there was some pretty nice remastered moments in this episode.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for agreeing with me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, in the beginning where they do that like establishing shot of the, I guess it's like an underground facility, right?
Yeah, it's like a matte painting in the original that they just kind of zoom in on.
Yeah,
but they added some
in
depth in this one.
In this, it's sort of a matte painting. It doesn't stray too far away from the matte painting look, right?
Yeah,
But
not
there's
really.
movement. There's people. There's little people in it.
It's great. And the one I was really thinking of is like near the end of the episode, the Horta, which we're going to learn about as we go along.
Horchata.
It comes out of the wall. It like melts the wall and comes out of it. And I thought that was a neat effect. The reason why it's neat is that it's still kind of herky-jerky and looks kind of like corny.
Yeah,
which
goofy.
fits in with the aesthetic.
Yeah, it makes sense, right? Yeah. There's one shot of the Horta like tube, like the hole it makes in the wall.
Yeah.
And it's clearly like a tarp that's been pulled.
For fucking sure, dude.
I was like, we're inside of a tarp right now. It's great. It's fucking great.
This episode was written by Gene L. Kuhn, who we've talked about
Gene L. Kuhn.
in past episodes as having a name that makes us uncomfortable to say.
Gene is a very weird name for me.
Well, so I wanted to point out some John Larroquette fun facts of the week about Mr. Gene.
You're making me uncomfortable.
I'm sorry, Josh. His name is Gene. But he actually established a lot of the things about Star Trek that really stuck around.
Yeah.
Like the Klingons, which were introduced in Errand of Mercy. The United Federation of Planets being named that from Arena. Starfleet Command, established as the operating authority and court-martial, and the Prime Directive.
That's a big one.
Being first articulated in Return of the Archons. Well, actually, he introduced Zephram Cochrane in Metamorphosis.
Yeah, in Metamorphosis.
And, of course, Khan in Space Seed.
Yeah.
And we talked about
important.
We talked about before how Mr. Gene and another Gene Roddenberry, did not get along very well once the show was over because of all those...
their names both were very uncomfortable to say.
Fucking Roddenberry? That's not even a real berry. Makes me uncomfortable. But, like, Gene Kuhn created all of these, like, really... like Star Trek things that make up the universe of Star Trek, and like a lot of the actors and writers and stuff contributed all of this stuff straight to Gene, you know, and
Mr. Gene C, yeah.
And Gene Roddenberry was like, no, I made those.
Yeah.
And so they just hated each other.
It's a very McCartney-Lennon situation.
It is, in a big way. Except, like, if no one knew that McCartney really existed.
Well, you know he's like a robot, right?
Yeah, they made him... He's a 1960s robot that they made to replace the original McCartney.
He's one of those robots from Austin Powers. The Fembot.
He's got, like, nipple machine guns.
Yeah, he definitely has nipple machine guns.
You heard it here first.
I think he plays the piano with them.
Dude, I would pay to see that shit.
Everybody would pay to see that. Are you crazy?
The episode was directed by Joe Pevney, who directed, like, a ton of other TOS episodes that are great, like City on the Edge of Forever, Amok Time, Trouble with Tribbles, and The Menagerie.
We gotta watch The Trouble with Tribbles.
We should do a Tribbles collection.
We should. Is that a Thanksgiving-y type thing? Or because they eat a lot?
I don't know. Like, I keep asking people to give us suggestions, and then I don't do them.
I know, we just make our own up. Which is okay, because, like, if we didn't make our own up, we would definitely use them. But, like, we run the show, so we're just gonna do whatever we want.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
I mean, you know how it goes.
We might... Like, the thing is, I always look back at your suggested collections when I'm trying to figure out what the next collection's gonna be.
Uh-huh.
I just don't choose them.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one was such a good idea.
The Satan's collection, I don't remember which visionary came up with that.
I'm gonna say that this is a McCartney-Lennon situation. Which visionary?
I fucking love the, like, Paul McCartney is dead thing. I think I've talked about why I love it before.
It's so ridiculous.
Because it's like, he was in a car accident and died, and they replaced him with a guy who looks exactly like him, can play all of the same instruments as him, and can sing in his exact voice, but it's a completely different guy. Because you can tell, because several points on his face are slightly different. Because there's no such thing as plastic surgery that someone would get after a car crash.
Right, or aging, or anything. It's that generation's Marilyn Manson took his rib out to suck his
Well, the Marilyn Manson thing is much more fucking... It's just great. It's much better.
That and he was Paul from the Wonder Years.
Well, that's true. That's a real thing.
They're both true. That dude can suck his own dick.
He's living the dream.
My favorite thing about that is like removing a rib suddenly allows you to suck your own dick.
Honestly, like, if humanity would have died out, like, millions of years ago if it wasn't for this one rib, right?
That's thanks, Eve. Thank you, Eve, for this rib.
I like that in Christian theology, humans had just one extra rib on one side. And then they took Adam's extra rib and made Eve. And God was like, yeah, it makes more sense to have the same number on both sides.
Since I'm an infinite, omnipotent being, why did I think of this?
Anyway,
Why didn't I just rewind time and fix myself?
this episode is straight up Star Trek, right? Like the lesson of this episode is so fucking intrinsically Star Trek.
I love this episode.
I do too.
Great. I love the horchata. They're fucking great.
I love this episode for a number of reasons. One of the number one reasons I love it for is we meet the chief of security of the Enterprise in this episode. And only this episode ever.
His name's like Don Smith.
His name's Giotto.
I didn't remember what his name was.
His name's Giotto, and he's like like dark-skinned guy with white hair, but he still just looks like 40, maybe 38.
I mean, everyone in 1967 looked like they were 48 years old.
It's true.
Because of the cigarettes. I'm telling you, that's why.
But like, the craziest fucking shit is like, Giotto's a commander. He has 2 stripes on his sleeve.
Yeah, he's commander.
And we just never hear about him before this or after.
Yeah, he's gone. Dude.
Which is actually, like, it's unbelievably rare for an extra or any named character to show up on Star Trek and be a commander. They're almost always lieutenants. They always have the 1 stripe.
Yeah, the lieutenant. Yeah, it would make more sense that there's, like, lots of lieutenants, not a lot of commanders.
It's just, it's so weird. Like, Giotto's only in, like, 4 scenes in the episode, and he's a commander.
Forgettable in this episode.
Because the thing is, I looked up, I was wondering one day, like a long time ago, I was like, who the fuck was the chief of security on the Enterprise? Like the original. And I looked it up and they were like, oh, it's this guy, Giotto. And I was like, what? Who? He's only in 1 episode?
Who's Gelato? I thought this episode was about horchatas.
Oh my god. Josh is getting a little racial in here, I think.
What? No, horchata. The drink.
That's fine.
It's my favorite. Dude, have you ever had horchata?
I have not had horchata.
Oh my god, it's delicious. I used to make it. I can make it from scratch.
Make me some.
Okay, come to my house.
All right.
See you in 17 hours.
We're already at your house, Josh. We live in a satellite above an M-class planet, remember?
Oh. I'll make the replicator replicate my homemade Josh's horchata.
Josh Chata.
Oh boy. No, that's a different recipe.
Horjasha.
My Josh Chata is homemade, if you know what I mean.
I've already had enough of that.
I brew it in my special place. My wiener.
Your wiener? Not your testicles?
I don't know how any of this works.
I'm gonna pee white stuff.
I'm gonna go number 3 so hard. Glenside.
They'll love that joke. They don't know.
Nobody knows that joke.
Like all the action on this episode takes place on Janus 6.
Yes, it's a what's the mineral? Pervium? Pervis?
Pergium.
Pergium, that's it.
Pergium.
Pergium, that's how they say
Pergium.
it. Yeah.
They like mine Pergium there.
Which I don't know what that is.
I don't either.
I don't know what it's used in. I don't know. It's some kind of mineral.
Maybe we'll get a John Larroquette fun fact of the week out of this. It is a radioactive element used by thousands of worlds as a source of energy.
So it's like dilithium, but not. So
Pretty
so in
much.
STO, the Horta, they are on the dilithium mines. So maybe it's like this got retconned as dilithium.
Maybe Pergium is just another name for dilithium.
Maybe
that would make a lot more sense.
That makes more sense to me. Yeah.
But the leader of the miners on this planet, Schmitter.
He acts like a Schmitter. Also, here's a Philadelphia fun fact. Oh, how interesting.
Yeah, that's real interesting.
Yeah, real good. My cousin Mike knew that. The Schmitter was a sandwich that they used to sell at the baseball field, and they had to stop because people were having heart attacks.
Holy shit. Holy Schmidt. That's crazy.
It was really good. It was a really good sandwich.
It was apparently too good.
Yeah, it was
It's the
delicious.
last sandwich you're ever gonna have.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
Fuck.
Anyway,
Bring back the Schmitter.
bring it back.
But Schmitter's like, look, people are disappearing. Fucking 50 people are dead. I
50
guess
people.
we've only asked for help now after 50 people have been
I would have
killed.
asked after like the second one.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, oh, this is looking bad.
But they're like, all right, take your Type 1 phasers, your
Yeah.
little fucking garage door openers, and
You get some phaser lore in this. It's interesting.
if you see something, shoot something, is what they say, right?
That's how the gun safety rule goes. If you see something, shoot something.
But fucking Schmitter's like, all right, peace. Or is his name Chief Vanderberg?
There's a couple guys. There's Schmitter, who's like the
It's Vanderberg.
like the miner. He's like the dingus, right? He's like, oh, it's
Yeah.
me. I'm Schmitter.
He's like the fat guy, right?
Yeah.
Who's like scared. But yeah, so Chief Vanderberg like leaves, and Schmitter's like, "Oh no, a monster!" and gets fucking killed.
Yeah.
And that's our
Sorry.
cold open.
Sorry, everybody. I like this episode because it's like a horror movie.
It is a horror movie. There's like
It's-
an unknown slasher monster out there.
It's Alien. This is Alien.
Yeah, I wonder if they took some inspiration from this episode.
I also wonder. I was thinking that when I was watching it. I was like, this is very Alien.
But the Enterprise arrives 2 days later, and like I guess like 50 more people are dead or whatever. And
This place is huge. There's like just people getting just murdered. By
yeah, they
this
talk
thing.
about later on when they're doing the like search. They're like, there are 200 people searching right now, and I was
So
like,
a quarter
what?
of your. Oh my god, searching? Oh my god.
That's crazy.
How big is this place?
I don't know. It's huge. It's a massive place, but apparently the creature's been murdering people for 3 months, and they just thought to call the Enterprise.
Someone's gonna get an OSHA claim, man.
sure.
OSHA's gonna be pissed.
And the best part about it is they're like, yeah, it killed 50 men, but more importantly, we can't make per diem.
the per diem, yeah, they need to make you the per diem.
But like Kirk, Spock, and McCoy beam down to Vanderberg's place, and they're like, so what the hell is going on? And the chief engineer of the place is like, yeah, like I shot this big pizza monster with my phaser
Call it
type 1.
pepperoni pizza. I was like, why are they shooting this pepperoni pizza?
I shot Pizza the Hut with my phaser type 1. It didn't even hurt him. He's so powerful.
I shot Chet from Weird Science. Things got crazy.
I shot Pizza Face from all that, and it didn't even hurt him.
Oh my god, we have so many references.
And they're like, all right, McCoy, analyze Schmitter's remains, right?
Yeah.
And the fucking like chief miner guy is like, there's not much left of him.
It's like he's just a smoking pile of nothing. He's like, there literally is
He's
nothing
like
left of him.
fucking, he's just ashes.
He's
and
dust to dust, motherfucker. That's what he is.
McCoy's like putting his fucking like tricorder onto the ashes.
Yeah. You getting any readings there, McCoy?
And he's like, yeah, it was like, it wasn't burned. It was like corroded by acid,
Yeah, like digested.
which is fucking crazy. And
cool.
Spock, they say they found all these like spheres everywhere.
Yeah, these
And they're like-
silicon spheres.
They call them nodules.
At first, I thought it was the poop. I was like, oh, that's the monster's poop.
Spock is like cradling it, and he's like, this looks like feces.
He like smells it, and he's like, this is definitely poop. I'm holding poop right now.
Can someone take this from me, please? Take it.
I need to go wash my hands at the eye wash station, but this time it's for poop hands.
The poop hand wash station. They keep those in the future.
They do. Well, mining per GM, you got to do that.
That's called a yes and, everybody who's fucking playing along at home. It's a
Yeah.
yes and.
Put that down on your bingo.
But like Vanderberg's like, yeah, there's millions of these. They're everywhere. We just been destroying them because they suck.
Because they're in our way.
They're like, why didn't you just like set them aside? And he's like, fuck them.
This guy's an asshole.
He is a dick.
Schmitter's an idiot.
Well, Schmitter's fucking dead. I'm talking about Vanderberg.
I'm confused. Which one's Vanderberg?
Vanderberg is the chief. Schmitter's the guy that gets burned to death by stomach acid.
Can I call him Schmitter too?
No, you're gonna confuse everybody.
Well, I'm already confused, so they should be on the same page.
His name is Vanderberg.
Like the generator. Got it. That's a Van der Graaf generator.
His oh my god, I'm so fucking confused. His name is Vanderberg.
Vanderberg. Got it.
But they're like
Schmitter.
talking about the poop nodules, right? And then there's just an alarm, like a school alarm.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, the creature killed a guard, went inside the fucking nuclear reactor, and took the circulating pump. He didn't destroy it. He stole it.
This is my favorite part. When the monster steals a part of the machine. But that's, dude, it's so Star Trek, right?
It hints at intelligence.
Yes, yes.
Because they're like, yeah, it didn't destroy it, it took it.
Yeah, it didn't eat it away, it just took it out of the thing.
Yeah, it wasn't done randomly. There's some type of purpose behind it. But the thing is, the nuclear reactor is going to go fucking supernova and destroy everything.
Yeah, I think the line is, Kirk is like, well, the only question now is, do we want to asphyxiate to death or die of radiation poisoning? And I was like, you definitely want to asphyxiate to death.
Out of those two choices, yeah.
Radiation poisoning is fucking terrible, dude. When the blood starts coming out of your butt, you're going to wish you were asphyxiated.
Josh, why do you know so much about this?
So what happens is the radiation eats away your lining of your intestines, and then you shit blood.
Oh no.
And that's only if you get like a little bit of radiation poisoning.
I don't want to poop blood.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking bad.
So Scotty's like, hey, I got like some parts to an old like garbage disposal I can put together and make a nuclear reactor real quick.
Because I'm Scotty, and why not?
But it's only going to last 48 hours. And Kirk's like, all right, beam down, and we're going to find that original pump, even though we don't know that it hasn't been destroyed.
Yeah, that's like their mission, I guess, now is to... So they have like two things going on, like not get murdered by the Horchata, which they don't know is Horchata yet, and fix the station, because everyone's going to die. I'm assuming there's like families and shit, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think so. I think it's all minors.
They show them later, and they're like an angry mob.
Yeah, there's violent, angry murder mob of minors, but I guess 50 of their friends have been killed at this point.
I guess, yeah, their tensions are high, right?
For sure.
They're not feeling too good about being in the station.
But then they go back to the room with, like, they go to Vanderberg's office, right? And Spock makes a fucking Magics of Megas 2 level leap of fucking logic.
Yes, he does.
And he's like, hey, maybe we're not dealing with a carbon-based life like every other type of life we've ever fucking experienced in existence. Maybe it's silicon-based.
Yeah.
And
they talk about some pretty accurate stuff, as far as we know, like silicon-based, like everything we know about silicon-based life now is exactly what we know then.
Yeah, which is little to nothing, really.
Like nothing, because it's like maybe it's impossible. Like nobody knows, right?
Well, that's what Bones says. He's like, dude, you're fucking, what the hell? That's not even a thing that could ever happen. It's literally impossible.
Bones is a cranky bitch in this episode.
He really is. He almost always is, though.
But he's like fucking not feeling it today. He's like, I fucking hate this place. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
I love that line.
It is good.
But Spock is like, hey, so if it's silicon-based, maybe we'll just need to use our Type 2 phasers, which are much more powerful.
Yeah, that's the pistol one.
Yeah, and we'll set it to be more effective against silicon, which is a setting we have.
Turn it to super good phaser.
Turn it up to 11.
This one goes to 11.
And so they send the security team down to level 23, which is where they saw all the spheres.
Yeah.
And
the security guy, Gelato, is like... Gianna,
this is a delicious episode.
This is a delicious. There's so many delicious names.
Gelato, Horchata.
Gelato's like, is there any reason we should expect to find it there? And Kirk is like, don't worry about that.
He's like, just stand in front of me when we get down there.
He's like, just go down there. Don't think about it too much.
Like, Giotto's straight up like, hey, can you, like, brief me on what's happening?
Yeah,
and Kirk's like, nah. Kirk's like, look, just be happy you have a name, okay?
Yeah. Good luck coming back, though, because you're wearing a red shirt.
He does survive this episode.
He does.
He just never appears again.
He doesn't survive.
The guy plays an admiral later, though.
Does he?
The same guy.
He got promoted real quick.
But a security guard gets murdered by the creature, and Kirk and Spock are nearby, so they, like, run in and find the ashes on the ground.
Ugh. Yeah, like, there's, like, 3 or 4 of these, like, mysterious acid murders, right? They really Scooby-Doo it up a little bit.
There's a lot of mysterious acid murders in Scooby-Doo.
There's so many acid murders. Remember that episode of Scooby-Doo when the killer drops the body in acid?
I do. Well, wait, you're gonna have to be
that?
more specific, because that happened all the time.
Yeah, which one, right? I think it was one with Scrappy-Doo.
And all you were thinking was, man, why couldn't they just do that to Scrappy?
Why isn't Scrappy dead? Isn't Scrappy-Doo the bad guy in the second movie?
I think he's the bad guy in the first movie.
First movie, that's right.
Yeah,
the
and then he
second movie
turns
is
into, like,
actually ghosts.
He turns into, like, a big fucking, like, beefy muscle Scrappy-Doo.
He takes mutagen from TMNT. That's right.
But anyway, like, they're like trying to find silicon-based life using the scanners, and Spock detects only one such creature within 100 miles.
Wow.
And he's like, if we kill it, it would mean that the species would go extinct, which is a crime against science. And Kirk's like, dude, it killed 50 people. It's still doing it.
Yeah, he tells him to shoot it. He's like, just shoot the thing.
Shoot her!
Just fucking kill it, yeah. Which is like, I love this, because this is where the Star Trek really starts coming in.
Yeah,
where you're
this
like,
is a learning
now
experience.
we have a third dilemma, right?
Yeah, this is a learning experience for the characters as well as the thing. Because they go into this thinking it's just some mindless beast that's murdering people.
But mindless beasts don't take radiation pumps or whatever the hell.
No, we are like rocketing through this episode, so I think we should take a break.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back after these messages.
Good evening. I am Tapon of the Tapon Radio program. My producers tell me it is advisable to expose my program on other broadcasts my demographic may find enjoyable. Thus, I have elected to advertise on the M-Class podcast. Join me this week from 1900 hours to 700 hours as I discuss a variety of topics from Ferengi stock market trends to ancient Earth music. Tomorrow, upon the request of frequent listener Commander Paris, I will be listening to The Logical Song by Earth band Supertramp. I'm finding it difficult to keep my excitement at bay at the prospect of listening to a song devoted to a topic so integral to my way of living. While it is of no consequence to me, I realize there is much interest in the Ferengi Stock Exchange, so we will cover that topic exhaustively. In addition, with your help, I will be sponsoring the M-Class podcast for the month of October, which entails the following. On the 1st of November, I will match every dollar M-Class podcast has earned past $500 during the previous month. If you are a fan who has been waiting for an opportune time to become a patron, this is the month. The hosts of the podcast are putting much work into making as enjoyable a program as they can. One cannot fault them for their limitations. They are only human. This has been Tapon. Live long and prosper.
And we're back. Hopefully somebody sponsored us for this month.
Oh man, I hope Tapon decides to give us more money.
Yeah, I'd like to officially announce 2 weeks later when you guys listen to this.
1 week later.
1 week later, that Tapon made good. He fucking beamed us over a pile of money.
That means nothing to him, so I mean,
yeah. I don't know why it means something to us, since ostensibly we exist in the same time period in the lore of this podcast, but fuck it.
Maybe we like to collect old currencies.
We're time travelers.
We're, Dr. what's his name? Rasmussen, right? Tell me why you think this is important. That's my favorite.
The Satellite M, where we live.
Ooh, cool name.
Satellite M exists right next to a temporal wormhole, so we're just constantly getting shot back in time.
It's like random, though. It's not a stable wormhole because we have to remain canon, right?
Yeah.
So
it just randomly appears. It shoots us back into a different time period.
Yeah, one time it shot out an evil Lincoln.
He was cool. You kept calling him evil, and that's why he left.
He was just regular Lincoln.
He's kind of a dick, I guess, but you didn't have to call him evil over and over again.
Boy, Abe, look what happened to your party now.
He was very sad about that.
Yeah, he rolled over, but he was alive, so I guess he didn't roll over in his grave.
He kept saying he was gonna do what John Wilkes Booth should have done.
Holy shit.
I don't know what he meant by that, but...
Hello, Secret Service. Whoopsies.
Oh, whoops. Oh,
looks like we're gonna get a call from the government.
That's fine. Won't be the first time. Anyway, back to the episode at hand.
Yes. Devil in the Dark.
Devil in the Dark. When we last left our heroes, they had split up into search teams to try and find what they don't know yet is the Horta. They just think it's a pizza monster.
They don't even... Well, have they seen the pizza?
They have not seen the pizza.
They haven't seen the pizza yet, yeah.
They haven't seen the two guys underneath a rug.
I was going to say, which is just two guys underneath a pizza rug? I don't know.
It's technically us, by the way, everybody. We weren't really supposed to tell, but, you know.
Shit. I liked being that Horta that one time. That was fun.
It was. We could just kiss under there and nobody could see.
That's how, like, when it's moving, it wasn't like us pretending to be a Horta. It was us just kissing.
We just kissing and throwing legs over each other and stuff.
And Mr. Gene L was like, "Good work, boys. Whatever you're doing down there, don't stop." And I'd be like, "I'm not."
He was like, "Good job kissing, boys."
That sounds like them's kissing noises under there.
Sounds like you're doing some grade A kissing.
This is Hollywood, whatever.
Anyway, Spock's like, look, security guard team, who definitely matter to this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
Surround it and possibly capture it. And Kirk's like, what? No, kill it.
Euthanize it, right? And it's like a dog or a bear that mauls the person. They always shoot the dog or the bear because you can't let it live.
He's like, shoot to kill. View to a
shoot
kill.
To kill. I was gonna recite some AC/DC lyrics here, but I won't.
Good. Anyway.
Shoot to thrill! Fight it now! I don't know.
That was it. I love your AC/DC impression.
Thanks, Jeff!
You're welcome.
Satan, no!
Oh, it was Satan. He loves your AC/DC impression.
Satan would love AC/DC.
Yeah, AC/DC rocks.
Fuck, dude. I am so glad I picked you to worship Satan. You're the best.
Fuck yeah.
So Spock's like, Kirk is like, look, Spock, you're kind of being a bitch, so why don't you go help Scotty?
He does say that. Oh, he does. Oh, that's right. He like sends him away.
He tries to. He's like, you should just go help Scotty fix the reactor, right?
Yes, yes.
And Spock's like, but Captain, I love you. And Kirk's like, I can do this by myself. I'm a big boy.
Yeah, I'm a captain now, Mr. Spock.
And Spock's like, well, look, how about some logic, baby? I know you like it when I do that in bed, so I'm going to do it on the job.
Call me Logic Daddy.
Like, you need my help more here, right? And, like, the chances of us both dying on this mission are, like, 3 billion to 1.
It's like 2,178 or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 0.7, too. It's
like 0.7.
It's like 2,317.7 to 1 or something.
I guess Vulcans don't round up.
0.7. He's got to be very specific.
That's true. He is.
It's illogical to round up.
Yeah, why would you round up, right?
And Kirk's like, oh, these are pretty good odds. And it's playing this like, yeah,
it's all goofy. It's all like, well, this is the goofy part of Star Trek.
Isn't Spock silly with his different customs and viewpoints?
People who are different are goofy.
But Kirk's like, all right, well, as much as I hate to say it, it sounds logical, and the crowd goes, ha 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 ha.
And then young Sheldon comes in and says, "That's the character I'm playing," or whatever.
Yeah. So
Whatever.
Kirk's like, all right, we're gonna you miners need to fuck off because we're gonna do this.
They
this big
send them up to
search.
the first floor, right? So there's like 20, I don't know how many there are, but there's like lots of levels. So like the digging.
There's a moment, right, where this episode, like, it's pretty cohesive, the episode as a whole. There's really not a whole lot of plot holes in it or whatever.
No, yeah.
But there's a huge plot hole where Vanderberg's like, yeah, me and my men are gonna stay. And Kirk's like, yeah, but your phasers won't do anything, dude. And he's like, well, we're gonna fucking fight it with clubs if we have to. And Kirk's like, all right, well, you can stay.
Yeah, like, and it's a setup for later, right? Like,
They have to be there, but, like, they could have done something better than that, right?
well, they could have not had the clubs. Like, who cares? Like later. Sorry, I just puked in my mouth. Later.
Oh God,
I didn't, but I could have. Later, when I don't want to spoil it yet, but like later they use the clubs or whatever. But like,
yeah, they've seen the episode.
No, I know, but like for the, I don't know, like if we want to go in order.
Yeah, we always go through the episode point by point. Which, how do you guys feel about that at home? Like, I never know.
Press 1 if you enjoy it. Press
Vote
2.
in the comments now. Well, wait.
Hello, it's me, Mr. M. Glass Podcast Phone.
Tell Satan which you enjoy.
Yes, I like a nice buttered scone.
Delicious.
With chai tea, please.
So they're like, all right, we're gonna hit the pizza with clubs, right? And even though like our laser beams don't hurt it, we're gonna hit it with
A
clubs.
club will work, I guess. Sure.
Maybe it's its weakness. You don't know.
Maybe it, yeah, I don't know. It eats metal and shit, so who knows?
And like, I don't know if it's been revealed yet. It has been revealed at this point.
Yeah,
that, like,
because they talk about how like the planet or whatever is like chock full of like every goddamn valuable mineral.
yeah. Well, it's been revealed that the monster, they don't know it's a Horta yet, is like capable of moving through stone. Like we move through air because of the corrosive it excretes. It moves at full speed through stone. And
Like
they're
how
like, we're going to
sound
hit it
travels
with
faster in
clubs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe again, I'm not trying to like make up for
Yeah,
this.
don't
dumb
fucking
part,
take up for this episode.
but like, maybe they're just freaked out and they're human nature, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll just use a club. I don't know.
There's some like really good human nature later in this episode, but we'll get to it.
Yes, there is.
But like Kirk and Spock reach a point where there's like a split in the tunnels.
A spliff? Oh, sweet. I don't remember this part.
There's a split in the
A
tunnels.
split.
And Kirk's like, well, let's split up, gang. And Spock's like, well, no, they always die in the movies when you do that. And Kirk's like, who's the captain?
And then a Jerry Reed song starts playing, and then Kirk and Spock go through one tunnel and come out the opposite side, and they're like, what? And it's like, little darling sunshine is like playing in the background.
Oh. I feel like a portion of our audience are not going to know what the fuck you're talking about.
Probably not. But go watch some Scooby-Doo. Then you'll know.
You'll get it. It was okay.
Jerry Reed is the actor and singer who plays the truck driver in Smokey and the Bandit.
That's true. That's a true fact. That's just a true fact.
That's not even a fun fact. It's a
This
super
is
true.
true. I didn't have any fun during it, so it's definitely not a fun fact. But like, so they separate, and like, there's like a tense moment where they're walking through inner tubes.
You mean tarp tubes?
Yeah, tarp tubes.
Yeah.
And they tried to gussy them up a little bit. You can tell, like they put stuff on the walls and everything. But
it tricks you enough. But I think because it's remastered, I can see better the tarpiness of it.
true, there are points in the tarp like towards the top of the screen that are like moving in the wind a little bit.
Yeah, it's tarp like. It's very tarp like.
But like, there's some very tense moments where they crouch walk down these tarp tubes. And Kirk ends up in like a chamber where he's like, oh man, there's hundreds of these silica nodules.
Yeah, the poops are in there.
Yeah, and Spock's like, don't damage them. Don't damage them. And
Yeah.
Kirk's like, why? And he's like, I'll tell you in the next scene.
Yeah, it's really he does it twice, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Because earlier with McCoy, he's talking about the silicon, how it's silicon based, and McCoy's like ragging on him because he's like, "You're a fucking idiot, Spock." And then like he has one of the balls, the poop balls, and Kirk is like, "Well, what do you think it is?" And he's like, "I wouldn't care to say right now because Dr. McCoy has already laughed at me enough."
Yeah,
or something
I'm
like that.
tired of getting picked on, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep my mouth shut. But here's the
Yeah.
thing: he's like, I wouldn't want to like speak out of turn without the information I need.
Right. He
Dude, you
doesn't
just
wanna-
immediately jump to it being a silicon-based life form, which has never existed before.
Yeah.
You just did that.
Yeah, I don't know how he picks and chooses. Maybe he's got like a spin wheel in his head, and it says, "Yeah, pick this one. Say it." I don't know. Man.
He's got like an alien brain, right? Like you don't know how his brain works.
Yeah, maybe it's just completely different.
He's
level.
got like a green-blooded hobgoblin brain.
Jesus,
So,
so racist. I bet his blood tastes like pennies.
all blood tastes like pennies, doesn't it?
No, my blood. Well, like, you know when you bleed or like whatever. Like, do you ever smell your blood?
Sure.
Like,
Let's
it
say,
smells-
for all intents and purposes, I've done this normal thing before.
It smells like spoons. It smells like a spoon. Like if you
Oh,
rub
yeah?
a spoon against your hand, because it's metal, right? Like it's
Yeah,
iron.
it's got iron in it very
And
heavily.
spoons are steel usually, which has iron in it. So
Well, that's news to me. Like I've like, you know, when you get a cut or something, you like suck on it real quick.
yeah, taste it. Yeah, I don't taste my blood, but I could smell it.
It's
I haven't
very
really,
coppery. It feels like pennies.
It's
It tastes
metal.
like pennies.
but I think pennies would taste a little different. I heard that buttholes taste like pennies. My friend Bosch Benders said that buttholes taste like pennies.
Well,
I believe
I'm not gonna comment on this in either way.
I am pleading the fifth.
Yeah, I'm gonna set this conversation out real quick. But like Kirk goes into this chamber with all these silica spheres, and he's like, "Don't worry, Spock. I know what I'm doing, dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm not in any danger." And then the creature just fucking knocks the roof down on him.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And
It like
Kirk's-
causes like a cave in, like Harry Potter or like Scooby Doo, right?
Yeah.
Like they get split up.
he jumps on like a wooden pillar and causes a cave in. But like there's a great moment, right, where like Spock is usually very reserved as a character.
Yeah.
And the only time he really shows any emotions is when he thinks Kirk or Bones are in danger.
Because they're his friends.
And especially Kirk, which is where all the fan fiction comes from, right?
His logic daddy, you mean?
Yeah. Kirk is like the opposite of a logic
No,
guy.
yeah. He's super Han Solo or Indiana Jones in this episode.
Yeah, he definitely is.
I'm
He's
getting
like, let's
some
just
strong-
split up.
Yeah, I'm getting some strong like Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford vibes from him.
Oh, for sure. Kirk like waffles a little bit between personality types throughout the original series. Like sometimes he's action man. He's still like
Yeah.
action man with a heart though.
This episode, I think he's pretty good. Like he's not impulsive and not so actiony.
Yeah, and
I
it's
think this
all
is,
like
like, the
tempered
good
with
Kirk.
like an intelligence and like
Yeah,
an
yeah.
emotional intelligence as well.
Exactly.
But with the roof collapse, Kirk's like, you know, I can't go back anymore. But before that, like what I was saying is like Spock like freaks out a little bit. He's like, Captain,
Yeah.
Captain, Jim,
Right there. Yeah, Jim.
and he's like, don't worry, Spock, I'm all right. And Spock's like, I didn't care.
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck, I don't have emotions. Whatever.
You have emotions. I don't have emotions.
Why don't you take your stupid human emotions and shove them? Like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't care. And
Call me later or whatever, or not. I don't care.
but like Kirk's like, yeah, like I can't go back anymore, right? Like because it's all collapsed. And Spock's like, well, it seems like it can't be a coincidence, right? So I guess Kirk didn't see the Horta, like, knock the pillar out and run away.
I guess not. But then he sees it, like, pretty immediately, though.
Yeah,
right?
Kirk
like,
just, like, walks into the other room, and it's just, like, hanging out being a pizza.
It's such a pizza, dude.
It really
this fucking
is.
thing is a pizza as fuck.
It kind of, like, looks a little delicious sometimes.
I mean, I was kind of hungry when I watched this show.
Yeah, I was
so
too.
like,
So I was just thinking, I got up halfway through the episode, made hot dogs, because I was hungry.
dude, I was like, you know what I could go for? A tombstone pizza.
That's exactly what it looks like, a tombstone
It
pizza.
does. Or like a French bread, right? Like
Yeah.
a French bread pizza, yeah.
But,
It looks real French bread like.
but like, Kirk,
Which, by the way, fuck a French bread pizza. Not to get off.
I don't really want a French bread pizza. Like, if I'm
Yeah.
wanting pizza, I want pizza.
Give me a fucking pizza, right? Like, I don't want to like, I don't even know. Like, what? Like a croissant pizza? I don't fucking know.
Like, the thing is, there are other types of pizza snacks that, like, stand on their own.
Yeah.
Like, if I want, like, bagel bites, it's not because I want pizza. It's because I want bagel bites.
right. You don't. It's not a pizza product that you
No.
you want. It's the one thing you want.
French bread pizza seems like a pizza derivative, like a one-step pizza derivative that I don't want.
Yeah, it reminds me of school, which and like the sucky pizza that they would give you at school.
Dude, I have nothing but fond memories of the square pizza. Like,
We didn't have square. We had French bread when I was in
fuck
school.
that. We had the square pizza where it was like real thin crust,
Yeah.
and then like the cheese and like little tiny square sausages.
Well, when I was in high school, every day they would order like Pizza Hut pizza.
That's
So you could-
fucking nuts.
Yeah, it was great. It was pretty great. Like you could just eat Pizza Hut pizza like every day.
Wow,
cool.
I get the fucking like obesity epidemic now. Like, I understand it entirely.
I also went to a high school in the movies, apparently.
Apparently.
I said this to people before, and they were like, really? And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, they would order Domino's or Pizza Hut or whatever the fuck it was. I don't
Like,
know.
in
I think
high
it was
school,
Pizza
we
Hut.
had a pizza. You could have pizza every day if you wanted. There was always a
Yeah.
pizza option, but it was the square pizza.
Ugh.
I like the square pizza. I'd still eat it. Like, every now and then my wife will bring home, like, she only did it once. She brought home, like, a square pizza.
I feel like that's like a Canada thing.
No. I definitely
Like
don't live in
square
Canada, Josh. I fucking wish I did, but I don't.
Hell yeah. Yeah, man.
Anyway.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Like, Kirk walks into the room and he sees the pizza, and he's like, this seems like an intelligent pizza. Like, he seems...
He does say that.
He seems very brainy.
You can see it on his face that he thinks that this pizza's smart.
And he keeps, like, lifting up his phaser and pointing it, and then, like, putting it down. And, like, the Horta, like, keeps, like, jumping towards him, and then, like, backing up. Like, oh, no, I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
There's, like, a standoff going on, but, like, it's very, like, elongated standoff.
It does. It happens, like, 6 times.
They could have stopped at, like, 3, maybe.
Yeah, he's like, he raises it and it backs up. Like, I didn't mean nothing. I didn't mean nothing, dude. I was just joking.
Yeah,
And then he, like,
poor
puts it
Horta.
down and he's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you, piece of... I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
I didn't mean it, pizza.
And, like, Kirk's like, man, I don't know if I want to kill this pizza.
Yeah, he's sensing, I guess, like, that it's smart, right?
Yeah.
And,
Like, it's
They're kinda feeling each
acting
other
like
out.
somewhat intelligently.
yeah.
And Spock shows up and he's like, what are you doing in here with this pizza, dude?
What's this pizza doing over here? This thing's huge.
He's like, you gonna share that? You're gonna get a tummy ache, dude.
I mean, you could feed a family of like 37 with this pizza. That's how
Yeah.
big this pizza is.
What fucking
Pizza
family
looks like two
has
guys making out
37?
under. I don't know. Maybe it's Thanksgiving and someone burned a turkey.
Just get the Horta. Dude, I kind of want to open up like a pizza place that's called Hortas.
That would be funny.
That would be great.
You think anyone would get it? I would get it.
There's a part. Maybe I'll make that a T-shirt. Like, I'll look at some
Hortas,
fucking
yeah.
like pizza place logos and make like Hortas.
You have to have that stereotypical Italian guy on it.
I'll have the stereotypical Italian like mustache and chef hat on the Horta.
Yeah, the chef hat. Yeah.
I'll just put it on the Horta.
Is that the funniest thing that Family Guy ever did? The every pizza place thing?
funny. I don't know.
I think that's really funny.
It's all right.
It's funny because like the payoff is ludicrous, and like that's I don't know. I think it's up there. I don't give a lot of credit to Family Guy.
Yeah, I was never a big
it.
Family Guy dude, so I don't know.
It's funny, but like a little goes a long way, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
we're
like,
not watching Family Guy.
No, thank God. But like, I really don't like that show. But like, Spock is like, well, like maybe like I could Vulcan mind meld with it, and
Just like another like
yeah,
like
let me mind meld with the pizza.
So the thing is made out of silicon, but you can mind meld with it? How does that fucking work?
He can also mind meld without touching for the only time in the entire series.
Yeah, he just gets near the thing and he's like, the pizza smell, there's so much garlic, I can mind meld with it.
Like, I guess he uses the garlic fumes as a medium.
As a medium, yeah.
But like,
a conduit.
He's like, you know, the terrible closeness that you feel. Like, I'm sorry for that. And Spock's like, it's fine, I like pizza. And so he like mind melds with the cheese, and he's like, he does that line that everybody fucking knows where he just goes burn,
Burn! Dude, he's like
burn.
They really give him now I don't know if he was given these lines or if he made it up or whatever, but it is esoteric as fuck.
It really is.
It goes on. It is like beatnik poetry, esoteric.
Well, yeah,
shit
that happens
going
when he
on.
actually melds with the cheese. He's not melding with the cheese yet. I lied. I wasn't honest enough about it. He's melding with the garlic smell.
This pizza analogy really works for this.
It really does.
It really makes sense. Like seriously.
But fucking like the Horta learns from Spock. Like Spock's like, oh, he's in so much pain. It's in so much pain, and then the Horta's like, I know English now.
Sure.
And it etches no kill eye into the rock
Which is also
floor.
super famous, right?
Yeah,
Like people,
it is super famous. I think there's like a metal something, like a song or a group called No Kill Eye.
No Kill Eye, yeah, I think it's a band.
Yeah. But like Kirk's like, hey McCoy, come down here and fix this pizza. And Spock's
like, shut the fuck up, I'm not doing that.
Spock's like, well, pizza's made out of silicon. His medical training is gonna be useless.
Yeah.
And Kirk's like a regular boss in this episode where he's just like, I don't care if it's impossible, do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's bosses.
Yeah, bring me positive answers, not questions.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to. Yep. Come to me with some answers, right?
So, like, they're like, you're gonna have to mind meld again, and he mind melds with the cheese,
This time he's touching the cheese.
which it's like a dicey moment because the thing excretes an acid that's so powerful that it instantaneously melts rock.
Yeah, you would think that touching that would not be a thing I would want to do. I wouldn't touch it,
But Spock does because he's the brave hero of the story.
because he's a logic daddy.
That's right. Josh, you're a logic daddy.
Oh, say it again.
Logic Daddy.
Yes, master.
The ultimate logic daddy, Satan.
Satan. Yeah, pretty much, right?
But the Horta's like speaking in esoteric fucking rhyme, right? Like murderers. It's doing like the fucking Bones from City on the Edge of Forever.
Yeah,
Killers, murderers.
They really write these lines like it is. I mean, I would say they're ham bone, but this is like beyond ham.
Yeah,
bone.
this
Like,
is one of the hammiest episodes of TOS, which is saying something.
it's super hammy, but it's still really good.
Yeah, I fucking love this episode.
This
but, like,
episode is good. Yeah.
pretty much they figure out through talking with the creature that like there is a chamber where its eggs are being held and it's
not
being
poop.
destroyed. And like Kirk's like, Spock, tell the creature, the Horta, that we're trying to help it. Yeah. And Spock tries to tell it that and everything. So Kirk goes to the chamber and he finds like, he says 1 million of the nodules. And they're like, holy shit, they're about to hatch. We're gonna be dads.
And they get really excited.
We're gonna be pizza daddies.
Which is the exact opposite of my experience of being told that.
Oh no! Learning about Josh Cast.
I'm kidding. It's never happened. It's never happened to me.
Not yet. Anyway,
Not yet.
the thing is, like, there's a bunch. The miners have I guess Kirk told them to go up to the surface, and they were just like, "Fuck you, we're not."
I guess they didn't, because like you said earlier, like they're like, well, we'll hit it with pipes. So they have like a bunch of pipes now. They just found pipes in some place. I don't know.
like later on, they're like, "Oh, we got the fucking we got the module back. We're gonna fix the nuclear reactor," and they're like, "No, without all these fucking pipes, you're not."
Yeah, now we need more pipes. Oh fuck, where are we gonna get some pipes from?
Let's make them out of the Horta.
But like the security team from the Enterprise is like guarding these guys, like trying to keep them out of this area because they're like an angry mob at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
They're like pitchfork wielding lunatics at this point.
Oh, before that, like, Bones comes down and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What is happening
What
in
is
here?
this pizza doing in here?"
It's like that fucking scene from Community where, like, Donald Glover comes into the fucking room when it's on fire.
And he's like, he has a pizza in his hand.
It all ties together.
Oh my god, it's exactly like that.
But he comes in, he's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" And Kirk's like, "Fix it." He's like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
"Fix the pizza." And he's like, "I'm a doctor, not a chef." I'm taking the pizza thing too far, I think. But he says he says I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer, right?
Which is great. It's
a great line. But he calls the Enterprise. He's like, "I don't care. Don't ask why I need it. Just send it down here."
Yeah, he's talking to like Ensign whoever the fuck.
Ensign Ricky.
Ensign Ricky, yeah. And he's like, "Just send it. Fucking do it. I'm everyone's grandfather."
And he's like trying to fix the Horta or whatever, but the miners are like, "We're gonna fucking come in, and there's nothing you can do about it." And somehow they overpower a security team that are holding the most high-powered phasers.
Well, for some stupid reason, every one of the security guys turns around to look at like where the camera is.
Yeah, and they all just run past them.
And they hit them in the back of the head with the pipes. So, I don't know. Those guys should probably get reprimanded or something for being bad at
They just
security.
left them on the planet.
Probably just let the horchata eat them.
But, like, they all run in and they're like, "Fucking kill it! Kill that pizza!"
Yeah, kill that pizza.
And Kirk's...
"No pizza's gonna get out of my township."
"This town ain't big enough for your thick, deep crust."
Are you Chicago style? I can tell.
But, like, Kirk's like, "The first man who fires dies." And they're all like, What?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Look, you guys killed this thing's babies.
Yeah, they were killing the babies.
You
They
killed
weren't poop.
nothing but fucking babies." And they're all like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, they really do get upset about that, which is kind of cool.
Which is cool. Like, even like these regular ass Joes, they're not even in Starfleet or whatever, have like evolved beyond that pettiness that humanity has, and they understand the situation on like an emotional level.
Right, like people from our time would be like, well, like they would feel the pain of what he said, and then they would repress it, and they'd go, "Well, it shouldn't have been." They'd find some excuse.
Yeah,
right? Like,
he'd be like, "Oh, you guys were killing its babies," and they'd be like, "Well, this is our fucking planet," you know?
Right. It would be like hostility.
Yeah, they killed 50 of our men. They're just a stupid pizza.
Yeah. I didn't even know pizzas could lay eggs.
But Kirk's like, "Look, the Horta, it will dig all your tunnels for you, and then you can be super rich even though there's no money."
Yeah, because like did the Horta like make? I thought they like excreted something. Did I make that up in my brain?
They excrete an acid that gets them through stone. And
I thought it was like
no, they make tunnels for the miners so they don't have to
so that would be
mine.
easier to do. Okay, I thought. Because, like, I don't know where, I might have made this up in my brain, but I thought they excreted, like, gold or something like that.
No, gold is also worthless, even though they mention it.
It's valuable, but not, like, how it is valuable now.
But, McCoy fixes the fucking Horta with, like, concrete.
Concrete, yeah.
He just, like, trowels it in, and he's like... He has a great line that I love, where he says, I'm starting to believe that I could cure a rainy day.
Dude, he's feeling himself.
He really is. He's like, I'm the greatest doctor that ever lived.
He stands on the roof and he says, I'm a golden god. He jumps in the pool.
I can fix pizza.
Not even God could save this monster, but I did.
So,
fuck you, Christ.
Holy jeez. He does say that.
I can't believe it.
Let's take another break, and then we'll be back with the wrap-up of this episode and our thoughts on it as a whole.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Blindfold, monsieur?
No.
Cigarette?
No.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Pepperoni and sausage.
Tombstone pizza, Pierre!
Once you start thinking about new Tombstone Pizza's killer sauce and real Wisconsin cheese, nothing else matters. So what do you want on your tombstone?
Napkin?
No.
And we're back.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully you enjoyed that good and/or service.
I know what commercial is going to go there.
Oh, yeah? I'm excited. I never actually listened to these shows, so I don't know.
Why would you? You did it.
I don't know. I always, like, people ask me all the time, or they mention shit, right? That, like, happens.
I never listen to anything I do.
They mention shit that happens in these episodes, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, that was, like, 2 weeks ago. I don't know.
I don't listen to them. I mean, I edit them, but I don't listen to them.
I listen to guest appearances, I do, a little bit.
Oh, really?
I sort of fast forward through them. Just to make sure that, like, I don't come off like some giant fucking prick in them.
Well, let me assuage your feelings. You always do, Jeff.
Perfect. Fucking perfect.
Great. Now I'm a dickhead.
It's exactly what I always wanted.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, back to the episode at hand. They fixed the pizza. They saved the pizza race.
Thank God, there's thousands of baby pizzas now.
Millions of baby pizzas. Pizzas for me.
Oh, one of my favorite parts, though, is like how... now, I'm not sure. I guess Spock knows it because he mind melded, right? With the thing, with the pizza. But, like, the Horta, like, they die every 50,000 years, right? And one of them survives to make sure the babies live. And that's just what's happening now.
It's like such a weird life cycle. Like, our entire race dies and one stays behind to be Mama Pizza.
I mean, it's not for us to judge the pizza race.
I guess. It stays behind to be Mama John's.
Oh my God.
So it's a very racist pizza.
No pizza's gonna kneel during the pizza anthem.
Topical humor.
That joke will be funny always.
Hopefully not. Hopefully that becomes unfunny very soon.
Exactly.
Anyway, the crew goes back to the Enterprise after a job well done. And Vanderberg, he like calls in and he's like, hey, the pizza babies have started hatching. And they've already found all this gold and silver and platinum. It's fucking worthless.
It's... These things suck.
But they're like, yeah, we're going to be rich. I don't know how, since there's no money, but we're going to be super rich.
Maybe we'll, yeah.
But he's like, they're ugly as sin, but because they're making me rich, I'll get used to it.
Yeah, they say, hey, you kind of get used to the pizza after a while.
Which is true if you eat a lot of it.
I think we all know my feelings on pizza.
Don't ever fucking bring that up around me again, Josh. I love pizza.
Look, pizza is great. It is.
It does cost way too much fucking money. You're right.
I've eaten so much pizza in my life. Like, how many pizzas have I had in my life?
I would, like...
10,000?
I'm responsible for the extinction of the Horta with how much fucking pizza I've eaten in my life. But, like... he talks about how they're hideous, but he could get used to their appearance. And then Spock's like, well, the Horta told me the same thing.
It's so goddamn silly.
Yeah, and McCoy's like, well, what did he think about your dumb ears, you green-blooded hobgoblin?
Those pointy ears, you bitch.
And Spock's like, oh, well, he liked that. The Horta liked that because it's super logical and knows I'm sexy.
That's what he said. That's actually like what he said.
Yeah,
like,
and Kirk's like, hey, are you serious? Really?
Yeah. And he's like, what?
And he's like, well, you know, if I didn't know any better, Spock, and Spock's like, oh, you know, my modesty, and Kirk interrupts him and says, does not bear close inspection right now.
Yeah.
You're becoming more human all the time. And then Spock says, I don't have to sit here and be insulted, which is how, like, almost every episode of TOS ends.
So good, though. It's like they found a winner and they're like, stick with it.
A lot of episodes end like that.
They do. I think we watched, like, 2.
Yeah.
like that.
But Spock, like, gets pissed. He's like, I'm gonna fucking leave then. Take my ball and go home.
I'll go back to my Spock room where I got my cool triangles and stuff. They love triangles.
There's a great moment in this episode I wanted to point out where it gets creepy for a second, where like Kirk is talking to Scotty and he's like, hey, we need to get this fixed, right? And Scotty's like, well, I can only give you like 48 hours at best.
Yeah. And
Kirk's like, kiss it, baby it, flatter it if you have to, but keep it going. But he goes on before that for a while where he's like, talk to it nicely, like give it what it wants, take it out, wine it and dine it.
Bop it, flick it.
Only the tip.
Skip it.
But he,
Cunnilingus it.
Scotty's like, okay.
It cuts back to Scotty, and he like puts his hand over the communicator, and he looks at the guy next to him and just shakes his head like, I don't know what's going on.
He like Kirk walks away, and he turns to the guy he's working with, and he goes, "Do you think I should go to HR about that?
Is this an HR worthy? I don't know. I feel a little weird about it, but I feel like I could get over it. Maybe." Fucking, oh man, treat it like a baby elephant.
John Larroquette fun fact of the week for you.
What? Another one? Fuck.
This episode is the first time in Star Trek history where Bones says, I'm a doctor, not a blank.
Oh, wow. Wow.
This is
Really?
the first time.
It's so iconic and so overused in pop culture. Well, like, pop culture, like, just talking about shit, right? Like, it's like Luke, I'm your father, right? Like everyone gets that quote wrong, or whatever. But it's so overused that I just assume it just always was. Like,
it's weird how like an entire society of people can get a quote wrong from a movie they've seen.
It's them paraphrasing the moment, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the weird thing about it is like they're paraphrasing like what's happening in the movie through a quote that is almost the quote from the movie.
Almost.
It's very weird.
I've got a sound clip for this that you need to remind me to send you.
Okay.
But this is the Kevin Cole bummer of the week.
Bummer.
William Shatner actually found out on set while this episode was being filmed that his dad had died.
That's horrible.
And
Kevin, why would you...
They were gonna shut down production for it. They were gonna be like, all right, we can't put you through this or whatever. But he was like, no, we have to finish this. Like, we have to. And, like, Shatner apparently took comfort in the fact that Leonard Nimoy's father had also died, like, a year before while he was on a set. Jesus Christ. So that is the Kevin Cole bummer of the week.
This is a terrible segment. This is the worst segment we have ever invented.
Thanks, Kevin.
Fucking Kevin.
Can't fucking believe you.
I think do you always talk about this? Or is it Sean that always talks about this? Here's a Kevin Cole not bummer of the week. They shut down the shooting of Mr. Belvedere because he sat on his testicles and they had to stop shooting for 2 weeks.
I think I've never said that before. I'm also slightly offended that you compared me to Sean, but
You should be offended. That's fair. You should be. But also,
that's a great story, though. I like that.
he sat on his balls wrong, and they had to stop shooting the show for 2 weeks.
Well, he was like fucking 80, right? Like, he could
was
pop
very
those
big.
babies easy.
He was large. He was a large man. Dude, man, sometimes that happens. I mean, it happens to every guy, right? But, like, it happens to me sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god, like, I just fucked my life up.
Yeah. Every now and then, like, I'll sit down and go, oh, did it pop?
Oh,
Did something
yep.
pop?
You sit down wrong. You sat down a little weird. Yep.
I pointed this out to you when we weren't recording, but Vanderberg, the leader of the Spacemen, has a yellow jumpsuit on, and from waist up shots, it looks exactly like Captain Pike's uniform from Discovery Season 2.
So really good.
Yeah, it looks like a fucking banana suit.
That yellow that they use is absurd.
Yes.
Like, I'm not sure who thought making it bright ass yellow was a good idea.
It's like fucking Banana Man yellow. Like, this dude should be fucking hopping over on the white hot sand to give me a goddamn banana.
What the fuck is that? Is that a thing?
That is a quote from a song literally no one but me has ever heard.
What is that song?
It's Banana Man by Tally Hall.
I
recommend that video, by the way. It's a fucking trip.
Oh my god.
But, apparently, like, I knew this already, but I'd forgotten to mention it. Like, Giotto is a lieutenant commander. He's not a commander, but he does have commander stripes on his sleeves.
They probably had one more shirt that was that, right?
Probably. Or, like, the people behind the scenes didn't give a fuck. They were just like, put the things on it and send it out, whatever.
Yeah, you're red. Here's a red shirt. That's what they would do.
Oh, shit. Here's some more fun facts for you.
Oh, my God.
Apparently, Pergeum mining was later referenced in both Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. What
Wild.
episodes?
In Fair Trade in Voyager and in Prodigal Daughter in Deep Space Nine.
Daughter?
It's the one with the first episode with Zial.
Zial, yeah. Okay. I love Zial.
Yeah, Zial's alright. They super underused.
They fucked. Yeah.
They did fuck it, but
I thought per GM was when you only got paid for like a day.
I thought per GM was like a part on your penis.
I thought it was a vagina part. The per GM, it's like where your butthole and your vagina.
Yeah.
That's the perineum. I know things about lady parts.
I guess I don't, but
all I know is it looks like a pizza down there.
It should not. I do know that. It should not look like a pizza down there. Unless you're a Horta, and then everything should look like a pizza.
If you do enough Hortaing, it winds up looking like a pizza.
Oh, no! I don't like that joke at all!
Oh, man. It smells like Asiago cheese. That grossed me out.
I don't like these jokes at all, John.
That grossed me out. I had to bail on that one. That was disgusting.
This episode is ridiculously Star Trek. Like, I'm sure this is one of those episodes that gets pointed out as being like super fucking silly and hammy and over the top. But the moral is there.
Yeah, like the intent of Star Trek is very inherent. Like you can tell. Like I love that. Like Kirk has second thoughts. Like he's wrong. Like what's so Star Trek about it is like a character is wrong. Like they're not right,
and they
says kill it. He turns and he doesn't even follow his own orders. It's great.
That's the thing is like there's in the past. In shows that even aired during the same period of time, there was an emphasis on, like, the heroes being right all the time.
Yes, they were infallible almost,
and, like, even when everyone told them they weren't right, then they pushed through and turned out to be correct.
Right.
And that is an absolutely worthless worldview to have.
It's a terrible worldview to have, I think we're living in the time right now where we see what that brings, right? It's chaos. It's horrible.
Not being able to learn and change your viewpoint is like the destruction of all levels of intelligence
of
like,
society, like
of society as a whole, for sure.
Yeah,
it's
terrible.
And like Kirk grows as a character in this episode. That's something about Star Trek that I think gets overlooked a lot. Is that the characters learn and grow either over the like time of an episode or sometimes over the time of a series.
Right.
Like characters change, and they're changed by their circumstances, and almost always for the better.
Yeah. And
that's inspiring to me. I always point out
it's great.
I always point out Riker's arc as like one that's like really a great arc, because he starts out as ladder climber. Like, I want to be captain someday, and that's all I care about. Like, I'll throw away my fucking relationship so I can be captain.
Right.
And by the end of the series, he's turned down captaincies on like 7 ships so that he can stay with this crew that he knows is capable of doing amazing things together.
Yeah, it's like Scottie Pippen, right? Like, Scottie Pippen could go to another team and be great, but why not play with the best team?
Yeah, he knew that he might not be the star of the Bulls or whatever, but without him, like, they wouldn't be able to achieve the great things they achieved.
Exactly.
It's something that Michael Jordan himself was talking about, that like people shouldn't be debating who the greatest player is. They should be debating who the greatest team is.
That's one thing about football too, is like everyone always sort of assigns Jerry Rice like greatest football player, but like how do you even begin to do that? Because there's so many different things. Like every position is so different.
He didn't play every fucking position on the field, right? You can't just say he's the greatest football player.
It's who's the greatest team, right? And
absolutely,
like, I think that's a very good lesson for human beings to remember.
We're always so obsessed as like people in general, like even looking into other people's lives about like who the star is, right? Like who's the most important. But that doesn't matter. Like who's most important is an absolutely worthless question. The question is like, what can you achieve together?
Right.
Like what
from Cochrane, right? Don't try to be a great man, just try to be a man and make history, make the judgments or whatever.
It's absolutely true.
It's a great line.
It's and like the humanity in the characters in this episode, like I said, even just the regular Joes who don't have any Starfleet training and don't have to hold themselves to that high level of like idealism and morality, as soon as they see that they've done something heinous, they change and learn and grow from it. They're like, oh my god, I can't believe what we've done. Like, how can we make it right?
Yeah.
And the idea that that's what humanity is going to be someday has always been like just this amazing idea to me that I've held on to, and it sucks that we've gone in the other direction.
Yeah, it sucks that like the other direction seems so like rampant, and I don't know. I mean, it is rampant, like, but I don't know. I believe people really want to live in like a Star Trek world. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, why the fuck wouldn't you? You right?
I guess it really depends on how you look at the Star Trek world. Like, there's a moment in this episode, right, which honestly was probably fairly groundbreaking for the time, where Kirk and Spock are standing there with the security guards, and they're like just people of different races in the security team, and they're all treated as equals.
Yeah.
And that was probably like crazy liberal at the time.
Right.
But then there are people who look at that and they're like, well, of course the white men are in charge, right?
Right.
And they're the ones that are important, and like you can just ignore anybody that's not white. And it's just, you've missed, like, no, he's green, but like,
he's green,
you've missed the entire point of the Star Trek future if you look at it that way.
Right.
It just sucks that people can completely misinterpret Star Trek that way.
Yeah, Star Trek's pretty simple to understand. I feel like, you know, like we were talking about earlier, like I feel like people who don't pick up on it's I wonder what they're watching. I'm like, what are you watching? Like, what are you getting out of this? Like, what is it?
Usually people
Right?
like that see like something in a movie or TV show that they wouldn't agree with, something that's like super liberal, and they're like, they shut it off, or they're like, this is fucking stupid.
Or they tweet about it now.
Yeah, but then like these people just watch all of Star Trek and say they love it, and they see all this shit that they would hate, and I guess they just block it out.
Maybe because it's like farcical. Like, is that what it is for them? Like, I don't know. I don't want to try to like understand the mind of somebody who like fundamentally I don't like. Maybe that's like so anti Star Trek, but like somebody who's like a bigot or a racist or something.
Yeah.
Like I don't really want to like try to understand why they're that way, because like I think you make a choice in your life, and at some point you're either brave enough to say, I'm not going to do that to other people, or you follow along with like the status quo of like where you live. Maybe your family is racist, you know, and people sort of accept that racism into their life.
It's where I grew up.
I mean, it's where I grew up too. Like, I know people like that too. Like I mean,
where I grew up, it was still to this day, because I don't live that that far away from where I grew up. It's like it's 1 in 100 people aren't just racist shitholes.
I mean, and that's because of like the community, right? It's because like that's just the way it is. It's not that these people they're not born racist. Like,
no, they learn it from their families,
right?
And it's just sad. The thing that really gets me is when that type of person like Star Trek, like, how do you watch something like TNG where just a bunch of people with different races are working together in harmony?
Maybe, I mean, maybe that's like the fundamental like disconnect in their brain, is that like, well, benzite isn't a person, right? Because they're not real.
I guess that's true.
Maybe
in their
they
brain,
think
like
that way.
benzite's a white man.
Yeah, dude. Seriously.
Yeah.
It could be. I don't fucking know, right? Like,
It's just clearly weird. We got off on a tangent. It's just weird. But this episode, like, is all about understanding someone that's fundamentally different than you in every way.
So much so that like they don't even like exist on the same like tree of life as you.
Like, this is as far away from a human being as you can get. This is a fucking silicon-based life form.
Yeah. Who looks like a pizza, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, and your first instinct when you see this monster is definitely going to be to eat it, because it looks like a pizza.
I want to eat that goddamn pepperoni-ass pizza.
It looks delicious, but instead, you become friends and you work together.
And you save its pizza babies.
For future pizza.
That's a later pizza.
It's a great lesson. And, like, I don't know. I feel like modern media is very much, like, tackling issues.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any, like, deep moral lesson behind any of it.
Yeah, so I was telling you before the show I was watching Sabrina, and they do a lot of, like transgendered stuff in that show.
Oh,
There's a lot of, like pro-gay culture stuff, like, obviously, like, that's like pretty, I feel like that's pretty common now and like accepted now.
It's great that it's common and accepted.
Yes, yeah.
But like transgendered stuff isn't as common or accepted. So it's really cool that they're getting into that.
They do it in a cool way, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but like the one character who is a girl, like sort of like isn't a girl, and like everyone just sort of like deals with it. Like they just sort of like, oh, okay, whatever, right?
I've always wondered why it's so difficult for people to just deal with it. If somebody's different, then you just be like, all right.
Yeah, there's just a third thing now.
Also, like, how does that affect me? Like, these people are so self-obsessed and stuff, but like,
that's what it is.
How does that affect them in any way that somebody else is different than them? I don't know.
It's scary, Jeff.
My brain doesn't work that way, I guess.
The world is scary.
It just confuses me. When I try and wrap my brain around it, I just come back to the beginning and there's no answer.
Because you and I are more afraid of what it means to live in a world where that is normal, where normalcy is hate. That scares me more than having to like call somebody a different pronoun. Like,
yeah, like I don't know.
You know
like
what I mean?
can't wrap my brain around it. Is the thing. Like,
yeah,
if somebody's like, hey, instead of calling me she, call me
Right.
they.
right,
Okay. Why would that bother me in any way, shape, and form?
right. Like it's, yeah, it's it's a minor thing. It's the cigars, right? It's Troy talking to Samuel Clemens, right? Mark Twain. Maybe you just have to give up a cigar. Like maybe that's the price you have to pay. Maybe you just have to remember somebody wants to be called they.
Yeah.
It's the
little
least you
tiny
can
step.
do.
The least you can do.
It's the least you can do. Literally.
It's like our heroes meet a being that. And it's like the craziest thing to me is the whole setup of this episode is 50 people have been killed.
Yeah,
50
which is a
human
lot.
beings. 50 human beings have been killed. And still, when Kirk figures out that there's a hint of intelligence in this creature, that it's not just a
Right.
ravenous monster, he hesitates and thinks, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. Maybe there's a reason behind all this. Maybe there's a way
Yeah.
to stop the killing.
Well, Star Trek gets a lot of, I don't know. Star Trek is thought of it as being very liberal, but I would say that like there's also a very like libertarian streak in Star Trek where like the characters understand that like the universe that they live in is it's unfair, right? Like so to blame the deaths of these people on the creature is kind of like pointless, right? Because like that's the danger of being out in space and exploring.
I guess
like,
it's
people
true.
are gonna die.
And I mean,
right?
Star Trek has a little bit of libertarianism in it as well, in that the entire society is a meritocracy.
Right, like
Which is
you
like,
earn,
I mean,
yeah.
it's definitely like a socialist utopia.
Right.
But the way Starfleet works, the way the government on Earth works, and I'm sure the way like any type of job that you pick for yourself works, is that you get like better positions if you're more capable, which is
Right.
sort of like a libertarian style ideal.
Sure, yeah, which is like kind of like the only Republican thing that exists now, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that like is left of that thought, that conservative thought.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean
Besides
it's like
super fascism.
it's like two little steps in a world that's
Yeah.
very liberal, which is always like,
Oh, yeah.
How do you not notice that and watch the show?
like liberal democracies, right? Like the liberal democracies of like Europe sort of function similarly
Yeah.
to Starfleet or to the Federation.
It's like a socialist democracy, like the way
Yeah.
like Canada operates,
Right.
or the way like some places in the Netherlands operate.
Yeah, it's like
Sweden.
Scandinavia or Sweden, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a great way to do things. Like it's working out a lot better than our way, but
Yeah, I would like some healthcare.
I'm sure there are a lot of people gnashing their teeth listening to this.
I'm sure.
Because like
we're
fucking
idiots.
talking about politics again. Like fucking don't listen to the podcast then, dumbass. Like,
But it's also like important because like I guess my point like about the Horta killing the people is that like there isn't a lust for revenge. And in our society, I feel like we always want to blame somebody.
yeah, we gotta have somebody to
for
blame.
something.
There has to be a scapegoat.
There's always somebody to blame. And like as much as like it is people's fault when terrible things happen, sometimes it's also nobody's fault, right? And it's just that life just does that, right? Like accidents happen.
Circumstances can sometimes lead to a negative result, and none of us put our hands on the Ouija board, right?
Right.
It
It wasn't
happened.
one thing. It was like a butterfly effect of things. And we can go back and find like the guy who didn't like fix the airplane right or whatever. But like, I don't know. Are we gonna like murder that guy? Like, does he have to go to jail now or something? Like, who knows? Right?
We
Like,
live in sort of like a retribution society. Like
Yeah,
people
we-
have to be punished for their actions.
it's that eye for an eye shit.
And
man.
I'm not opposed to punishing somebody for their actions. I'm
Right.
opposed to eye for an eye for sure.
right. It's not always equal.
It's a pretty decent part of the Bible, I think. It's one of the decent parts. An eye for an eye leaves everyone blind.
Right. Yeah.
It's a great quote.
And I only have one eye, so like, fuck me.
You have 2 eyes.
One of them does not work.
One of them works like shit, but you got 2.
One of them works like shit, and the other one doesn't work.
I guess that's true. I always forget that your eyes are technically worse than mine, which is fucked.
They're not great.
You should probably be wearing glasses all the time. You know that.
Yeah, I should probably be not listening to Jeff.
That's bad advice at all times, and you know it.
You should wear glasses, cause...
That is what I said.
It's verbatim.
I said at the end of it.
I heard it.
Where are your goddamn glasses?
Never!
You're gonna go real blind.
I need to go get new ones. How do I do that?
I need to get new ones too. I went to the here's a funny story for our podcast. I went to the eye doctor and I was very nervous the whole time because I'm obviously trying to get my prescription and I'm just gonna go online and buy glasses because it's like hundreds of dollars cheaper.
That's exactly what you do. You do not buy the glasses from them because it's insane.
And this is the first time I've done this since I'm freelancing now. I can't afford their fucking solid gold glasses.
They're glasses that like suck your dick off.
Yeah. Thanks for that joke, far away, Josh.
My cat was jumping on me. I had to deal with it.
That's fine. But anyway, like I'm obviously not gonna pay their fucking exorbitant prices, but like I didn't know how to tell them that.
I just say I will. I'm very open, and I say no. I will. I'm going to get the glasses elsewhere. I just say I'm.
Yeah, I said that, but like anyway, I did all the fucking shit I had to do, and the whole time I was thinking about what I was gonna say, and I went out there, and this girl sat down with me, and she's like, and I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get my prescription.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, well, have you thought about what type of glasses you want? And I was like, oh yeah, but I'm gonna get them elsewhere.
Yeah.
And she was like, where?
This place called Nunya Damn Business.
And I said, "Oh, I'm gonna get them elsewhere." And she's like, "Well, have you thought about like what style you want?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get them elsewhere." And she was like, "But like, do you know the store? Because we have the same brands." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get them online. Like, I'm buying them online. I can't afford them here.
Yeah,
I can barely afford
you having the same brands. Is there $400?
Yeah, I said like I can't afford the bill you're gonna give me for having gone to this eye exam. Like, I can't buy your glasses."
Right.
And she was like, "Okay, if you like, you can bring them here, and we'll see if they're real or not."
Why would they be not real?
I was like, and I like paused for a second, and I went, You don't think I'd be able to tell that they're not my prescription?
Why would they be not real?
And she just like kind of like turned away and rolled her eyes and like filled out my prescription and gave it to me.
Fuck her, dude. I'd have been like, you're a bitch. I'd have been like,
and she's like, and I was like, all right, well, thanks. And she's like, yeah, you can come back and get those checked out if you want. And I was like, I won't.
Like, suck my dick.
I like stood up and I waved and I was like, I won't, and walked away.
That's great, dude.
I was like, I cannot fucking believe this lady.
Dude, that's like when I went to the doctor when my head was all fucked up, and the doctor like looked on the wrong side of my head, and I said, "Oh, we're off to a great start," and he got really mad at me.
I love this story.
I was like, "Yeah, man, it's over here. Like, clearly, this is the side. Like, you can see it. Like, I have a major infection in my skull. Do you want to help me? It's on this side, dude. Hey,
Dr.
use
fucking
your
eyeballs."
Yeah,
maybe he needed to go get his eyes checked too.
Maybe, I don't know. Does he know what style he wants though, Jeff?
Does he know where he's gonna get them?
Maybe they'll be fake once he gets them.
They're just gonna send you fucking Where's Waldo costume glasses.
That's some spiel that girl or woman or whatever put on some old people, and now the old people think that they're gonna send them fake glasses if they don't
for sure.
I'm telling you, that's what that is.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Did you know everything's a scam now?
Yes, I did know.
Like, that's a scam. Like, you're scamming people.
Like, if you buy things on the internet, it's always a scam.
Dude. Except that lady was scamming you because she was telling you they might not be real? What the fuck universe?
I really feel like that's never happened before.
I feel like that's almost impossible.
Like, there's this thing you can do where if you type in the name of a website and then reviews, that you can see if it's real or not.
Also, their glasses, they're not like... I'm not getting fitted for like an artificial heart. Like,
yes. They're lenses that are made with a different curvature.
They're just glasses. It's not that big of a deal. Like, Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
I'm all fired up now, Jeff. You got me all fired.
I'm sorry I fired. It's very easy, Josh.
I'm a redhead, dude.
He runs hot.
Don't you? Are you married to one? You know what it's like.
Yeah. She's not redhead like you're redhead.
What does that mean? Jeff, what does that mean?
Tell me!
I'll fight you, Jeff!
Sounds familiar.
I'll kill you!
Anyway. What would you say about this episode overall? Like, how would you rate this episode?
I love this episode. I think it's a great TOS episode that if you're not like super into TOS or like maybe trying to watch some TOS but not watch all of it, like I would check this one out. It's very Star Trek. It goes quick. Like the episode went fast, which is always a good sign.
It's not dragging its ass like some episodes do.
Not dragging. Not just. I mean, some episodes of Star Trek in general drag their ass, but this one does not.
I feel like I'm like opening up the world of TOS to you, Josh.
You are.
I'm guiding you through the veil.
I never gave it a fair shake, and not because like I didn't think it was good or I didn't like it. I never.
Yeah, you just never
down.
like gave it the time it deserved.
Yeah.
Like not for any particular reason. It just happened that way.
It was always.
Like that's the way a lot of people are with TOS.
Yeah, it's very common.
And I hope that this podcast can give you your window into TOS. It's why I always try to include a TOS episode in every collection we do.
Yeah. Was this 2? No, this is the first one.
Yeah.
You did the Magus 2, which is the
animated series, which is our first episode of the animated series we watched on this show. Starting with a bang!
Wait till we watch the one about the Aztec god that turns into a spaceship.
Jesus Christ.
No Quetzalcoatl!
I'm excited. I'm excited for that day. This is like on the list of TOS episodes that I would give somebody if they wanted to get into TOS.
Absolutely.
Because I really love this episode. It exemplifies TOS as a whole in that there's like very hammy moments.
Yeah.
Very corny moments, like bad special effects, but there's so much heart and soul in this episode. And it really, like, it has the ideal of Star Trek in the like core encoded in its very core.
The core is, which is always good to see, mostly because, like, Star Trek, I mean, we talk about it all the time. Star Trek's been on in one form or another for, like, 60 years. Like, they're not always going to match up stories, but when you see like that common thread, it really ties the whole thing together.
And we've talked about it a million times before that Star Trek is different from most other franchises in that way, and that there is a core ideology that holds it together. Like, it's an Aesop's fable of a series.
Yeah.
Every episode should have a moral in it and should make you think about your own morality and your own ideals when you watch it.
It should.
It doesn't always.
It should.
I believe that takes us to the end of the episode.
That's it. I'm going to go drink some horchata.
I'm going to go drink some gelato.
Yo, do you like gelato?
I do like gelato.
I don't think I like it that much.
I really do like it.
It's the Italian ice, right? Or what we would call here water ice.
No, that's not gelato.
But I thought, is that a gelati? So a gelati is the water ice or the Italian ice.
I don't know. Gelato is like a really thick ice cream.
Yeah, so I think the gelati has the gelato in it. I believe. Yeah.
See, I've never had a gelati. I've never even heard of it.
They're here we would call them water ice. Water ice. Which makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't like Italian ices that much, except the ones that you get in like the freezer section
with the wood stick.
No, they're like you know the little individual ice creams they used to have at school.
Yeah, with the wooden stick.
No, there's no wooden stick.
Yeah, you eat it with the stick.
I think
Did you not have the wooden stick?
There's a different world you lived in. You had to have a spoon we
got a stick and we ate it off a stick.
Wow.
Have you never done this?
We were civilized, so when you...
Hey, man, I had pizza every day!
Fuck, I can't compete with that!
The trade-off, though, was we had to eat ice cream with wooden sticks. You never see... I'm gonna send you a picture.
Yeah, if you send me a picture, but it, like, has the little, like, tab, and it's, like, got a cardboard top, and you pull it off, but they sell, Italian ice like that, but it's, like, packed in.
Yeah,
it's not like...
you eat it with a stick, Jeff!
You can continually repeat it for the rest of our lives. It won't make it true for me.
I found the sticks. You could buy packets of sticks.
What?
Yeah, dude.
This is
You've never done this?
It doesn't exist here, Josh.
I am so shocked at this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What if I send it to you? Will it work?
What if you send the sticks to me? Is that the question?
Link. I'm copying the link here. There. See it? Do you see it?
Yeah, those are fucking, like, they check your tongue with that shit. That's a tongue depressor.
You eat ice cream with them, too. Sometimes they're shorter. They're really short.
That's a tongue depressor, sir.
They're like the size of your thumb.
This motherfucker's eating ice cream with tongue depressors.
I cannot believe you've never done this.
No.
I'm shocked, sir.
I'm sorry, Josh.
I'm shocked that you've never eaten ice cream with a
stick. Thanks for tuning in to M Class Podcast.
I don't know if we can do emails after this. I don't know how I'm gonna do it.
You'll have to toughen up. You'll have to think about the lessons that Star Trek imparted on you about accepting others who are completely different.
I think our differences are too much, Jeff.
We're like, we're at Darmok and Jalad, is what it is. At
Ben and Jerry's at Jalad with a stick. The fuck is he talking about?
Look, thanks for tuning in to M Class Podcast, everybody. We love when you listen to us. It makes us feel important, like we're important big boys.
Please
do. As Josh mentioned, literally a minute and 14 seconds into the podcast, you can become a patron of ours and help make this show what it is, day in and day out, or week in and week out, since we only do once a week, by heading on over to patreon.com/mclasspodcast, and for as low as $1, you can join our Discord community.
Oh, I wanted to do a thing, too. We put the show on iTunes, so if you want to go to iTunes and rate and review the show, you could do that. It would help us.
That would help. Like, just tell how you really feel to the world.
Be honest. Just be honest, and, yeah.
Tell your friends. I feel like every time I tell you guys to tell your friends, you're like, I'll do it later. I'll tell
your fucking friends.
Tell them now.
Your mom. Yeah, when your mom's hanging out drinking wine with her mom friends, just play the episode.
Just go in with a boombox and play the episode.
Like 1985, just roll up with a jam box and just blast in our fucking...
You can follow us on Twitter at mclasspodcast. Or you can send us in an email for our other program. mclassemail@gmail.com is the address.
Yeah.
Singular. Again, we appreciate you listening to this podcast. I know it can get a little weird at times.
No, it's never weird. We're perfect. We're perfect boys.
He's right. I was just lying. We're fucking perfect.
I apologize for nothing.
It was fake humbleness. We're actually the best.
No humbleness. I sold it to Satan, my lord.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear sir. Dear sir, what?
What? Check out this fucking sick riff.
Oh, shit.
Dude, he's using a saxophone. What's happening?
How is he doing this?
Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for more M-Class goodness.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm mentally ill.